Okay, hey guys. So now we've covered the silver and white reflector. We can see what they can do and what kind of versatility you have when you're out shooting in natural light. But sometimes we want to take more than just a standard headshot. So right now I've got Ryan over here. He's our yoga master, our enlightened being, and he's going to do some yoga and go through a little practice and flow here in the park, and we're going to capture this. But if you look at the photograph, just as it is now, I'll go ahead and take a photo in a second, you're going to realize that we have some dappled light going on here. We've got highlights, shadows. We have a beautiful direction of the light, and by putting him in the shade, we have a little bit softer light on him, but I want to tweak it a little bit to get the perfect photo. I want the light to flatter him and to highlight him in the shot, rather than have him hiding in the shadows a little bit underexposed. So let's go ahead and take that first shot and then see how we can tweak it and make it a better photo. All right, so looking at this photo, we have a lot of great things going on for us. We've got beautiful exposure everywhere else in the photo except on our subject. We have great color saturation in the skies. We've got some great movement to the light. Remember how we talked about when we're using that covered shade, how the sun doesn't come straight down and make that nasty shadow. We're forcing it to come in from the sides because we've blocked the top off with these trees in this case. So I like the movement of the light, but with that movement, remember how the direction changes our contrast? So we have the light coming in from the side now, which is creating a lot of contrast by creating a lot of shadow on the other side of his face. So let's fill that in just like we did with the headshot, but when we're doing full body stuff, we need a bigger reflector. So I'm gonna go to the Westcott Scrim Gym. It's actually a 6x6, so the 6 feet by 6 feet of reflective material, and I have a silver and a white panel on that, and that white panel is what I'm gonna use, because I wanna be able to bring it in really close and really soft, and I don't wanna have to worry about aiming it like I would with the silver side. At the same time, the silver is a little crunchy. It's very high contrast, high output, and I want a softer quality of light here because our model looks very peaceful here, and yoga is this very peaceful, serene kind of thing to be shooting, so I want my lighting to match that. So we're gonna go with the white soft. They've gone ahead and brought it in. Let's take this next photo and see if that fills in the shadow enough and lowers that contrast for us. And you guys are in the shot, so I'll have you come towards me a little bit. Okay, and now come towards him again. I'm just gonna walk into the shot, okay? Come towards me. So now Kathy, Julio, you pivot point. Kathy, move towards me. There you go, that's it, perfect. And Julio, your body's in the shot, but the reflector isn't. Excellent. There we go, guys, all right? All right, so what we did here is we used the white reflector, and what I did is see how it's placed there towards the front of him? A lot of times people take a softbox or a reflector and they put their subject right in the middle of it. But what you do by putting them in the middle is you actually lose half of your modifier. So guys, I'll have you slide it down just a little bit past him, how we were originally. If we start there, half of, like put him right in the middle of it. Right there, like have him right in the middle of the reflector. Okay, there you go. So if you look how it is now, he's in the middle of the reflector. So only half of the reflector is bouncing light around to the front of his face where it's being seen by the camera. The other half of the light is being bounced around behind his head, which does us no good. So when I looked at this photograph, I realized I want all of that soft light to fill in the shadows on his face. So I simply put the reflector up towards the front here. So now all 6 feet of my light is bouncing back into the face, and that gives us that nice, beautiful, soft fill that we were looking for. So to summarize, we started out by finding a location with covered shade. This means that we don't have that direct overhead light. Instead, it's coming in from the side. And that light traveling from the right to the left side of the picture gives us some beautiful contrast and depth to our photograph. The only problem is by itself, it created too much shadow. So by bringing in a really big white reflector, we have a push of soft fill, filling up those shadows. So we have beautiful contrast and direction to our light, as well as taming that light so we have a nice natural balance with the fill, and we have a soft resulting portrait. Now there is a white and a silver side to this. So the silver side I wouldn't necessarily use here because it's a little bit too punchy and contrasty for this particular photo, but let's go ahead and jump into some applications where a large silver reflector is going to create some killer images for you. Okay, so now you know what the silver and the white can do. The white's generally softer and the silver is that high output, but you actually have a lot of control with the silver side of your reflector. So if you just use it flat, this is how most people use it. Not a lot of control there. But if you bow the reflector out like this, look at how the quality of the light softens all of a sudden. This is still the silver. It gets a little bit darker, but a lot softer. And now if I bow the reflector in like this, you get the hard spotlight, just like that. And then if you flex it out, just like this, we're actually pulling the two sides back, then you get this nice soft light in there. So the silver is extremely versatile and just used by itself, very high output. So now you know that you not only have high output, but soft high output, and then a more focused spotlight of control as well. So you've got a lot of versatility out of this particular silver panel. So I'm going to have our model step out for a second, because now that we know how to focus this light, I want to actually teach you guys how to find the light and then how to direct it and where to place it. So for a lot of us, when we're starting out with the reflector, we just kind of hold it up and we pray. We just keep adjusting it, moving around, flailing around in the air until the light lands on our subject. But if you want a quick and easy way to find the light and put it on your subject quickly, I suggest you do this. You aim it at the ground so you can see it. See how we can see our highlight there? And then you just track it up your subject. So easiest thing to do, tilt it down, light the ground, and then just run that light right up your subject's body to your subject's face. Quickest way to find it, because I'll tell you what, if you're aiming the light at the sky, you're never going to have any point of reference to find it on. So start at the ground and then move up. I'll go ahead and have our model come back in, because there's another thing I want to show you too, something that I don't recommend you do. So I have you step right in right about there. Now most people take this advice and they find it on the ground and they run it up, and we do this like horrifying underlighting, like we've got someone sitting around like a campfire telling horror stories. This is not what you want to do, guys. This is a great way to find where your light source is, but then just like all the light sources in life, the sun is above your head, your street lamps are above your head. When you work with soft boxes and umbrellas, you have them up aiming down for natural light. You do the same thing with your reflectors. So I find the light on him and then I raise it up so that the light is coming from above eye level, and this gives you natural looking light. So by doing this, we have the shadows are going down, so we have nice sculpted cheekbones. We're still filling in the face and the shadow side. This is natural looking light. This is what you want to do. So good rule of thumb is aim the light at the ground, run it up your subject to find it, and then raise it and have the bottom of your reflector just above eye level for natural looking shadows.